Okay.
James at the elbow has been really good for you guys offensively. I'm just kind of curious, like, what have you seen for your offense with him specifically initiating at the elbow and just guys off the ball putting themselves in spots for him to find?
Yeah, I think, just use him a lot like, LeBron in Cleveland, just, a great passer at the elbow, James and Russ. And then having Kawhi and PG just working on pin downs, rip screens, and see if the defense messes it up and kind of get those guys shots. And like you said, he's been really good at the elbows.
Do you feel teams on defense specifically, like, they fall asleep a little bit and that's why cutting has become so effective across the league?
Yeah, I think, everybody's just, the game is so much pick and roll that you talk to, get into the ball, trying to play the pick and roll 2-on-2 or low man. But, a lot of times you're just so, fixated on the basketball. When you're cutting, guys don't see you. And so it's a lost art, in our game. But when you do it, like I said, it does mess teams up.
Obviously, Daniel's feeling good enough to practice and everything. From what we see, I remember 3 weeks ago, you mentioned, like, guys got to win games, and that's going to dictate the minutes. You've won some games now. The concentration is going to pick up. Like, how do you feel like the minutes and the rotation will be affected over these next couple of weeks?
Just pretty much the same. Just going, like I said, the flow of the game. Dictate how much guys play, and if guys are playing well, if the combinations are playing well, that's kind of like that's kind of how we coach. And so you don't go into it really saying like, this guy's going to get 12 minutes, this guy's going to get 32 minutes. You just kind of coach the flow of the game.
When Brandon, you came back to play in the G League the other night. I'm not sure if you got a chance to see that or get any feedback on what he looked like. How do you feel like he came out of that?
No, he came out healthy. That's the most important thing. And then just, he hasn't played in a while. He hasn't played since training camp. So having these reps in the G League to, to get better, to get his timing back, to get his, all of his timing back, because I thought he had a great camp, coming out of Hawaii. And then, unfortunately he got hurt. But, just getting back to where he was at, in those days. And so, like I said, he's feeling good. He's healthy. That's the most important thing. And then we know his game is going to, be good. So we're not really worried about that.
What made his camp? Because obviously we didn't get to see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got hurt like 3 seconds into the damn game. Like, what made his camp so good compared to his previous 2 NBA seasons?
I think understanding, how we needed to use him was the most important thing. And, he's a scorer, so, he likes to have the ball in his hands and, running pick and rolls and ISOs. But with the team that we have, like, that's going to be tough for him to do. So I thought he had a great camp, just understanding catch and shoot, driving closeouts, playing pick and roll on the second side. And he really did a good job with doing that. And so understanding, like, how we need to use him. And then, as it goes along, his job will get bigger and bigger. But right now, just, playing off a closeout, catching shoots, things like that. He did a really good job of that in camp. And so it was unfortunate that he got hurt.
Is he back here today? Is it practice today?
No, they have a game today.
Okay.
What have you seen the past 3 games that maybe has clicked with this team? Has there been one particular thing or a couple of things?
I think just trying to understand how we need to play. I think how, to keep James, PG, and Kawhi in a rhythm and a flow of the game. And so that was going to be the hardest part. That was going to be the biggest challenge, is understanding how we want to play. And I think just with our rotations, like getting James out early, bringing him back with the second unit, letting him control that unit, has been really good for us. And so I think just understanding how we want to play. I think our rotations, who plays well with who, has been really good for us in the last few games.
So why do you think former role players in the league had so much success becoming coaches, whereas superstars maybe have struggled?
Because, superstars are great players, and so they only seen it one way. They don't have the patience to go through, like, when guys are not as great as they were, and so, like, me being a role player, I understand that you're going to make mistakes. Guys are not going to be great, and so just having that patience to get through those times. And so when you deal with guys who are great basketball players, they expect everyone else to be great or expect everyone to do what they did to be great, and that's not necessarily the case all the time. And so that's why it's a tough challenge.
Everyone talks about, like, superstars having great basketball minds, but it clearly goes beyond.
They don't have great
stars.
basketball patience. They have great minds, but not the patience.
But no one talks about the role players' great minds as well. And you see a transition coaching like Kerr, you, other guys around the league, Darvin, and Rick Carlisle, like that is just not talked about as much. The basketball mind of those guys as opposed to just the stars.
Well, because the stars, they're always the stars, and so they're given the ball, they're able to do what they want to do. And when you're a role player, you have to figure out, how can I be productive to get on the floor and play? And so how can I help this team? And so when you play those mid teams as I have and Steve has and D-Ham has, like, you got to figure out different roles on different teams. Like, how can I help this team? How can I get on the floor and be valuable? And so you're always thinking ahead of what you need to do. When you're a star, you go from one team to the next team, you're still a star. And so your role doesn't really change, if that makes any sense.
What have you seen out of Kobe's progression in the last few games? Because I remember the game in Golden State, you said, it went too fast for him. But what have you seen from him since then in terms of his comfort level on the floor and understanding and getting the game?
I just think our guys are showing him film. Like, each day he's getting better at something. So, Golden State, he wasn't great with low man. Next game he was great low man. One game he wasn't great at getting back, in transition. Next game he was great in transition. So I think just baby steps with just, showing him film, let him get better each day. And I thought last game he was really good. I thought he did some good things, and he's going to continue to keep getting better. And so our biggest challenge is defensively, understanding the rotations, like what we need from him on the defensive side, because we know he's going to be able to make shots.
Even though Bones hasn't been playing, he's been super animated on the bench, up cheering guys on. How important is that when you have a guy who obviously wants to be playing but isn't out there but is still able to be like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And, he's a great talent. Like I said, and just with the roster we have, just the combinations don't work. And it's bad for Bones, like I said, because he is a really good player and he's done a great job early on in this season. And so, just like I said, just keep staying engaged. Like, his opportunity is going to come. I can guarantee you that. So just staying engaged, still being a team first guy, not a me first guy. And so you see, he's always up cheering. He's always up, with the guys, laughing and joking, and, high-fiving. And so his energy, we still need that. And so, for me as a coach, I'm just, disappointed that, we can't get him out there more because, like I said, he does deserve it. So just to keep staying engaged, and he's going to get his opportunity. Yep.